Charlie, Director's Report.
Yes, I'd like to tell you about recent City Council actions and a few other items. The Council has met twice since your last meeting on September 6th and last Tuesday on September 20th. On September 6th, the Council held a study session on the Adeline Place and the Flatiron projects. As you know, the Adeline, well, you may not know, but the Adeline Place project will be on your October agenda for approval. And you have signs, real estate signs, for both of those projects on your agenda tonight. The redevelopment agency on September 6th approved an exclusive negotiating agreement with Wareham to develop the transit center on the Mound site north of the Amtrak station. So that project will be moving forward and probably coming to the commission for approval within the next year, hopefully sooner than that. The Council also approved a contract with ESA to prepare the environmental impact report for the Site B project, so that project is moving forward. They gave final passage to the ordinance on interpretation of the building height and building intensity map where a lot is located in 2 or more zones. That ordinance is effective October 6th and will not apply to projects for which applications have been submitted prior to that date. They introduced the ordinance which would amend the list of permitted and conditionally permitted uses in the CG General Commercial Zone, and that ordinance was passed at their September 20th meeting and will be effective October 20th. They approved the final design submittal of the artwork for the Doyle Street Greenway, and they authorized the artist to proceed with fabrication of that artwork, so that will be we'll be seeing that new artwork along the Greenway pretty soon. They approved the Transportation Committee report, which included signage and pavement stencils for the bicycle boulevard on Horton Street, and also riding of bikes on the sidewalk on the west side of Frontage Road. That was necessary because apparently our municipal code is ambiguous about whether or not it's okay to ride a bicycle on the sidewalk, and as you may recall, your approval of the Hilton Garden Inn project included a bicycle facility on that sidewalk. And finally, on September 6th, the Council directed staff to initiate a study to consider the elimination of compact parking spaces. So we're going to be undertaking that study, and we will bring it to you for your review and recommendation before we forward it on to the City Council. That will be in the next few months, probably after the first of the year. On September 20th, in addition to giving final passage to the ordinance regarding the CG zone, the Council approved the final development plan for the Bay Street project, including the improvements to the facades on the west side of Building C and D, the wayfinding signage, and the tenant identification signs on Building A. They incorporated most of the recommendations that the Planning Commission made on that project at your last meeting. Moving on to the General Plan Update project. The next meeting of the General Plan Update Steering Committee is next Tuesday, September 27th, here in this room from 6:30 to 8:30. This will be a continuation of the panel discussions on various topics. Next week's panel discussion will be on pedestrian and bicycle circulation with a panel of experts, and that includes Rochelle Wheeler of the County Pedestrian and Bicycle Program, Jason Patton of the Oakland Pedestrian Safety Project, our own intern Christina Farrakane, who's written a paper on pedestrian circulation in Emeryville, Robert Rayburn, the Executive Director of the East Bay Bicycle Coalition, and Professor Elizabeth Deacon from UC Berkeley, who is an expert on transportation matters. So that should be a very interesting discussion. Future panel discussion topics include sustainability at the November meeting and developers' perspectives at the January meeting. Staff has received the draft report on the survey with the findings of the survey that was conducted for the General Plan Update. We are reviewing that draft report and hope to present it to the steering committee in October. Also, the consultants are working on the opportunities and challenges report, which will be presented to the committee at the October meeting. That's really the first major product of the General Plan Update. It's sort of the assessment of the existing situation and what the issues are, and it kind of lays the foundation for all the future policy discussion in the General Plan Update. So that's a very important report that the committee will be getting in October. Next, I have a status report on the 11 Menzies projects. So if you have any questions on anything else I've reported on, I'd be happy to respond to that. All right. Moving along to 11 Menzies. Well, late breaking news. We have learned that 11 Menzies is in the process of selling 2 of their 3 projects. These are 1401 Park Avenue and the Doyle Street condominiums. They are selling them to Prometheus, who will pick up these projects where Levin Menzies leaves them off. We have met with Levin Menzies and Prometheus and discussed these projects with them at length so that Prometheus is fully informed of what they are buying. And I understand that the sale closes next week. Levin Menzies will be retaining the 46th Street Lofts project, the Flecto project. So on these 3 projects, 1401 Park, the demolition of the slab is proceeding. The structural permit is almost ready to issue. There are still a few outstanding issues before we can issue that building permit related to public improvement agreements and so forth. And that permit, of course, would be issued to Prometheus, assuming that that sale moves forward as anticipated. On the Doyle Street condominium project, we are still expecting a building permit application by the 1st of October, and again, that application, assuming this goes through, will be from Prometheus rather than from Levin Menzies. And on the 46th Street Lofts project, which Levin Menzies is keeping, the shoring has been erected around the building to hold up the exterior walls, which has closed the sidewalks on the 45th and 46th Street sides, not on Adeline or Linden. Those sidewalks are still open. As previously reported, Levin Menzies has agreed to a legal agreement to remove this shoring from the public right-of-way if the project should stall in the future, and they've put $63,000 into an escrow account for that purpose. The demolition work is proceeding on the interior floors and the columns. The exterior walls are to remain. However, I have observed that the top portion of the 46th Street facade has also been demolished, which
that collapsed one or the other.
well, yes. I'm not sure exactly what happened. I put a message into LMA to ask them for an explanation about that and to try to get their assurance that the rest of the facades are going to remain intact. I have yet to hear back from them. A partial set of foundation permit plans has been resubmitted to the city in response to our comments, and we are continuing to review those. So that's the status on Levin Menzies.
Can you tell us something about Prometheus?
I don't know too much about them. They are
I do.
Oh.
They are one of the biggest developers around. I'm shocked that they are buying such small projects, frankly.
They're mostly around here. They tell us they're mostly on the peninsula and down in the South Bay.
Yep.
Do you know what types of projects they do, Chris?
Well, you know, they've been doing mostly apartment buildings, and I'm trying to think of who the guy is that owns Prometheus. He was a big wheeler dealer in the 70s and 80s, but they are definitely substantial. So
Well, they told us that they mostly do rental projects, but these will be ownership projects because that's what they were approved as. And Levin Menzies told us that they're stretched pretty thin right now. They're a pretty small company, and they've got, I think they said, 11 projects up and down the West Coast with over 1,000 units currently, at some phase of planning or building. So they're just trying to divest themselves of some of those projects.
are they losing money on them, or did you not ask them?
I didn't ask them
Didn't
that.
ask them.
I don't know.
But we'll check the records after it's closed.
Are they, is Prometheus aware of the commission's interest in making sure that the 3-bedroom units that Ed asked for and they committed to do will actually be developed, or are they going to do a 2-bedroom with loft type of concept? I think we should really need to monitor that to make sure that they do something more than just a 2-bedroom loft area.
Well, all 3 of these projects have already been approved by the
yeah.
Planning Commission. So Prometheus isn't going to be coming back for, they've told us they're not planning to modify these projects. So they are inheriting from Levin Menzies the projects as approved by the Commission. So as with all projects, we will review the building permit plans to make sure they conform to what the Commission approved.
And did we approve, was it 3-3-bedroom units? You probably
6.
missed. Was
In
it
what
6?
project?
At 1401.
1401?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've already reviewed the latest building permit plans to confirm that there are in fact 6. three-bedroom units in that project.
Okay, thanks, Charlie.
Sure.
Well, that's 18 students.
Thank you, Paul.
If there are no other questions, just one final thing. I want to thank Miru for stepping in for me last month. I understand she did an excellent job, which of course I expected that she would.
Yeah, we want her back today.
Okay, all right.
Just kidding.
See ya. I'm sure my family will be happy to
No, just kidding.
have me home.
We'll get you home early tonight, Charlie.
Yeah, I know you will. And I'm happy to report that my daughter is safely delivered to Lewis and Clark College in Portland.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And that concludes my report.
Okay, any commissioner comments? Okay, with that, we're going to